Hey everybody, how's it going? Here is a little bit of an update from Meike and how her training's getting on. In a minute I'll talk you through exactly what she's been up to recently, what she's going to get up to in the future, the sort of training sessions that we're going to start integrating to help build her all-round fitness. So your goals are mainly around just improving your fitness, riding a little bit further, a little bit faster and enjoying being fit and healthy. Is that not right?
That's
cool.
Correct.
And because of that, it will be really quite applicable to a lot of you that are perhaps watching this video thinking that you might like to do the same sort of thing. Now, today is the first day that we're going to start to include a little bit more intensity. It's not going to be structured, so no strict intervals as such, but we're going to be quite adventurous with the terrain. You can probably see in the background the horrible climb behind us. It's one of two really disgusting climbs on this ride, but this one at 33% is arguably the easier of the two. So we're going to have to see how we get on with this one first, because have you ever ridden up there? This is Blue Hills near St Agnes, or Trevellis Coombe as it's known. Have you ever ridden up there before? No?
No, I've never done it. Bit scared.
So we don't even know if you can actually make it, do we?
No.
But that's kind of the fun with the e-bike is there's no way you'd try it on your normal bike, but because of the e-bike, you said earlier that it gives you the confidence to attempt these things. Yeah,
it gives me a little bit more confidence to try something else, something new, something a bit more scary, harder.
All right, let's stick it in zone 3, level 3.
Yeah.
And well, guess we'll see if we make it, won't we?
Yeah.
Good luck.
Thank you.
So this climb, for those of you that don't know it, is 33%, although mainly that is in that bottom corner just over there. It climbs up from the beach, Trevellis Coombe, or Trevellis Cove as it's also known. Climbs up to the top, Wheel Kitty Workshops. Then we take a left, go through St Agnes, and then we're heading for Rocky Lane, which I think is the worst of the two. Mainly that's because I used to do intervals on it. Let's see if this guy makes it up in his car. Oh, spin it, go on. Here we go, coming around the most disgusting corner in Cornwall. I breathe forcefully, real hard. The GoPro probably makes the road look quite a lot wider than it actually is. It's often the case. But riding up here, if you're struggling, you really need to hope there's nothing coming the other way. If a wide van or car comes down, it's going to make it very tricky to squeeze by, especially on the slippery surface if they don't stop in time. Right, we've got the last little surge now. Mike is doing amazing. So you can see the top now. So the last tough bit, mate. I'm going to point out one of my favourite signposts in Cornwall. Sports massage on the top of one of the worst climbs. Okay, 33%, it's absolutely no joke. Just going to do it. Well done, mate. You did it.
That was scary actually.
Why scary?
Because it was so steep that if I held my hands on top of my bars, I was thinking if I pull too hard, my wheel will come off the ground.
Left.
So yeah, that was actually a little bit scary, but I've done it.
You've done it. You've definitely done it. Right.
No way that I could have done that without the help.
No, okay. That wasn't. I was going to ask. Are you ready for Rocky Lane as an attempt? There is a bailout. So if we get going and we get halfway at Rocky Lane, and you really can't make it, we don't need to push to the top. We can just turn around and go up the road down to the cove. Yeah. Fancy a try? I did this to Lloyd a few weeks ago, and I'm not sure how happy he was. But you made it, so it's your turn to suffer now. I'm sure Lloyd will enjoy watching that. So this is Rocky Lane. We've had about 3, maybe 4 minutes recovery from doing Blue Hills. A Rocky Lane is, in my opinion, the worst hill, full stop. It's short, it's sharp, it's under 2 minutes if you go fast, maybe even less. I once did, no, more than once, did 6 reps of it. So you go up and then you get 3-minute recovery back down. The second time up was half the speed of the first time. It's that hard if you go flat out. You get halfway up and it eases off briefly and you're like, oh, wasn't that bad at all. And then it just ramps up, up and up until you get to the corner. You got a blind corner and it continues to rise all the way to the road. It's savage. It's going to be slippery. I'm not being rude. I think it's going to be quite hard for Meike to actually make it up this one because you've got Blue Hills in your legs. You've got the 45-minute ride, 54-minute ride actually that we've taken to get here as well. It's just brutal. It's grim, but it's well worth attempting. It's evil. I wouldn't want to ride down it. It's that slippery and steep. It's such a hard climb. I always think it'd make an amazing hill climb. Like you could hold it in the dark in the winter and have like a proper party atmosphere here. Obviously not with a global pandemic. There's a holiday village here, you can lease it out or something. I don't know how to organise an event, but I think it'd be really cool. This is the worst bit, mate. This right now is the absolute worst bit. You've done it. You've actually made it up there. That is amazing. That's absolutely.
That was hard.
I said at the bottom, I didn't think you were going to do it.
Oh really?
Really. I'm really proud of you. That is incredible. I can't wait to see what your heart rate was. Meike says my legs are mush, which I think kind of concludes the session. That's the beauty of cycling, is if you live somewhere hilly or somewhere windy, you can make up your own intervals. Whilst interval training is really good, it's not always the most fun thing to do. So instead, set yourself little challenges, like how quickly can I ride from, for example, in the Netherlands where we used to live, you could ride along the Lekdijk and see how quickly you could get from one town to the next, and then ease up between the next two towns, then go hard for the next ones. Sometimes sporadic intervals are the best way to build fitness, as long as you kind of get an understanding of total workload in any one session. So both of those climbs, it's going to be about 8 minutes of max effort today. Tomorrow, I'm going to go on to do a longer but much easier ride. Can't go hard all the time. Recovery is important as well. But would you say that was more fun than sitting on the turbo trainer?
Oh yeah. Turbo training's terrible.
Turbo training's terrible. Heard it here first. There's a time and a place for everything. But a sunny November's day, sunny-ish in Cornwall, it's warm enough to get out. I'm only wearing thermal shorts, so it's a good time to have a bit of fun with your intervals. For a bit of a gauge of how hard Meike just tried, she's just suggested maybe she should try doing it on a normal bike. So I think the oxygen debt has quite literally disappeared from your head rather than gone to your head.
But just so that you know what the difference is.
Just so you know the difference, yeah. Well, if you want to try that, I'll happily bring you out. Mad.
Then you can see what the difference is between a e-bike and a normal road bike.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably a good idea.
It's good measurement.
So here is Meike's slightly more in-depth look to her training. So since Meike's latest update, which was a couple of weeks ago now already, her longest ride was 85 kilometers on the 16th of October. Since then though, she had a busy week of work, half term, and has now started ramping up her training a little bit more. Unfortunately, Meike is a victim of the global pandemic and is currently on the furlough scheme. I don't care what anyone says, there's nothing great about that. However, you have to make the best of a bad situation, which means that right now we're going to try and cram in a load of volume because we don't know how long it's going to last, and therefore we might as well try and do quite a few longer rides together. Some of these rides would include a little bit of intensity, but on the whole, we're just going to try and focus on getting in some long rides on the bike, partly because it's social, it's good for us as husband and wife, it's quite enjoyable, it's quite nice to get out and about and enjoy the roads, and that little bit of free time that we wouldn't normally have. Also, it's really helping to encourage me to get back on the road. We are going to start including some of the more sporadic intervals. So like we did with Blue Hills and with Rocky Lane, we're going to try and include a few of those each week. One session each week, we'll have a ride where there's a short, intense couple of climbs, and another ride, well, we're actually planning on doing our local 10-mile time trial, but I haven't told Meike that yet. I think it's worth noting that on the 10th of October is when Meike received her e-bike, and that's when she started training a little bit more strictly. You can see that her fitness rose from a CTL of 16 to where we are today with a CTL of 39. By looking at this graph, we get a bit of a better understanding for Meike's actual fitness. So in its most basic form, imagine the dark blue shaded area is your fitness. So the higher that is, in essence, the fitter you are. The pink is the short-term fatigue. So the fatigue loading of how hard the last few days were. So therefore, the higher the pink line, the more tired you are, acutely tired. And then the orange line is some sort of combination of the two, supposedly. It's called training stress balance, meaning when the orange line reaches around 0, you're fresh enough and also fit enough to perform at your best. Looking at this graph, we can see earlier in the year, Meike was training when she was previously
a member of the furlough scheme. That was back in June. That was June the 7th there, where her fitness reached a 60, a CTL of 60, a chronic training load of 60. By adding training stress scores to her future scheduled sessions, we can see that by the 29th of November, her CTL will have risen to 65, but then she'll be quite fatigued because she will be at minus 41. However, after a week off, she'll still be fitter than she was back in June, but she'll also be much fresher as well. Meaning, effectively, she should feel better on the bike, be able to perform better, and that would be a good time to whip out one of those 10-mile time trials that I mentioned a second ago.
Thank you, Coach Chris, for that. Right, hope you enjoyed this video. Please send us some more comments. We love reading through them, even if we don't get around to responding to every single one of them. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask those as well.
Yeah, that was tough. It was a very tough challenge, but I did it. I did both of them.
I'm proud of you. You should be proud of yourself as well. Be mega if you would subscribe, give the video a thumbs up, drop a comment. Otherwise, we'll see you all again very soon. Bye.
Bye.